So we've sent the renowned broadcaster Lee Kasumba all the way to Cote d'Ivoire over the last couple of days to unpack doing business on the African continent and explore the opportunities, the endless growth potential that this continent provides. She's been unpacking and packing her bag. She's been very, very, very busy as she's returned from Cote d'Ivoire following her journey, and we've been able to follow it on africaconnected.co.za, also with the hashtag AfricaConnected. Lee Kasumba, how was your trip?
It was amazing, but I want to test my French on you, if that's okay. Bonsoir, Bruce.
Bonsoir, Lee Kasumba.
Ça va? Ça va bien, merci. Et toi?
Yeah, deux bières, s'il vous plaît.
Ooh, that's as far as I go. Je parle un peu français, so let me just leave it there.
Trois bières, s'il vous plaît. I've ordered beer. You can deliver beer to me now.
I'll bring that to you.
Okay, so we've both embarrassed ourselves terribly. I can order beer, you can say hello, but we're not going to go any further on that particular point. Now listen, the credit system in Cote d'Ivoire is very different to what we're used to here in South Africa. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting. As mentioned while I was away, I had a conversation with Mr. Chris Ndala, who had worked in South Africa, then he went to Uganda, then he moved to Cote d'Ivoire. And while we were talking, he basically mentioned about how one of the systems that doesn't work so well is the credit system, especially with regards to when it is that you want to get a car. So in South Africa, for example, you can walk into a car shop, then it takes about 15 minutes for there to be approval. And then after 15 minutes, then they'll tell you whether, you can actually get the car or not. In Cote d'Ivoire, it can take up to a month. Some people had even cited waiting 3 months up until 5 months just for the system to actually work. And it's because they've always been, a cash kind of flow economy, and to get people to work on credit and to get all the systems in place to work was always a challenge. So I was shocked. Imagine waiting a month at minimum, almost 5 months sometimes for a card. Obviously impacts the motoring industry in quite a big way.
Well, and it also just impacts the lives of ordinary people. All they want to do is they've got some money, they want to borrow the money that they can get from the bank, and they expect a better service. And it just shows that we are very lucky, very advanced banking system in South Africa. We do.
So the last time we chatted, you were telling me about a drone company called We Fly Agri that's helping farmers in Cote d'Ivoire to better manage their farms.
Tell me about how that works.
So basically the whole idea was that, there have been a lot of issues around agriculture in the continent, in general, from the food scarcity issue to making sure that none of the crops would fail, so they could spot issues and problems way in advance. So this drone company, which is a startup, We Fly Agri, basically their head engineer was a guy from Zambia, which I was really impressed by because he spoke, I think I mentioned he spoke Russian, French, a bit of Afrikaans. I'm not kidding. English. I was sitting there, and then his language from Zambia, it evaded me what language it was. And basically, with We Fly Agri, what they were doing is that they were doing partnership deals with farmers and plantation owners, alike. So first of all, it was to help people be able to remotely focus in onto what was going on their plantation and to ensure that there was security. So if you owned a farm or plantation and you weren't around, you could basically see that your farm was secure, your plantation, and also just being able to trouble spot if there were any issues with regards to the crops. So if which areas needed a lot more water than other areas, for example, which you could literally pick up on the drones because of the amount of detail. So I was really blown away by that.
And you spoke to Axon Mwenda as well.
Yes, he's the engineer, the one who speaks Russian. Bruce, I'm telling you, you and I have to go for language lessons to him because he speaks all those languages.
We've proven that already here this evening. Why don't we hear from Axon Mwenda?
Our main ideology is we want to give back power to our plantation owners and even farmers, And with the technology that we have right now, we're sure we're going to we're sure we're going to make a huge positive impact for the agriculture industry and beyond Ivory Coast, because and you see us soon in South Africa. Okay. Yeah, you see us soon in South Africa because we believe that whenever we come up with solutions in one country, like here in Ivory Coast, we should have a global view.
So that is Axon Mwenda in Cote d'Ivoire. He calls it Ivory Coast. Isn't it rude to refer to it as Ivory Coast?
Yes, it is. Most people did actually refer to it as Cote d'Ivoire, but I think it just came up because of, because obviously he had actually just moved there.
Because you don't speak many languages. So he was just trying to help you out. Now, listen.
You also spoke to the Stanbic chief executive in Cote d'Ivoire, Hervé Boyer. I think that's how you pronounce it. He was saying that he also sees Cote d'Ivoire as a great strategic area for the bank.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he highlighted something that I thought was so amazing. He spoke a lot about the West African Economic Monetary Union, which is made up of 8 countries, right? So that's mainly Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea-Bissau, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo. And Cote d'Ivoire, if you can imagine, is responsible for 40% of this economy. 40%. So what happens in Cote d'Ivoire affects the rest of these other countries. And one of the good things with regards to the banking system is that they have the same legal framework, the same currency, tax laws, and one central bank. So once you get into business in Cote d'Ivoire, you in essence get into business with this entire region, which is quite amazing, because I think one of the only other places where this actually functions well is with the European Union. So it was really quite interesting to see the fact that this model works well in the banking industry.
Okay, let's hear from Hervé Boyer. Is that his name? Do I pronounce it roughly correctly? I'm getting abused on the SMS line for destroying the French language. And for anybody with any Francophone connections, I really do apologize on behalf of Lee Kasumba, who started it.
but let's just hear from Hervé Boyer himself.
One of the big benefits is when you think about Cote d'Ivoire, you don't think purely Cote d'Ivoire. You think West Africa Economic and Monetary Union, which is eight countries. You don't think 24 million, you think about 110 million people, who again are governed by the same legal framework, governed by the same currency, one central bank, and also an harmonization on the tax side. So a lot of benefit and a growth of 7%.
That's Hervé Boyer, who works for Stanbic in Cote d'Ivoire. Now, you've got to tell me this before I let you go. What is the best thing that you had to eat?
The best thing that I had to eat was, I'll tell you what, the best thing I had to eat and drink. The first was bisap, which is hibiscus. It's a hibiscus drink. And seriously, somebody said, try it. Bruce, I wish I brought the entire carton. I wish I brought everything back with me, because it's the best.
Is it a cordial that's made from hibiscus flowers that are grown there? Because I would assume there would be lots of hibiscus there.
Yes, it is. So it's grown from there, and it's like something that people use generally. And also, a lot of people say that it actually has healing properties. So if you're not feeling well, people just generally take it because it's a feel-good kind of drink, and it makes you feel better and healthy as well, But it tastes so good. It's like beyond refreshing. So that was, I literally glugged that down like every moment that I could. And then the second thing, because we'd sent out tweets to everybody asking, what should I do when I'm in Cote d'Ivoire? Everybody said, they hashtag Africa Connected. And there was one lady who actually kept on sending messages saying, you need to try a tiki. I was like, okay, I went to go try it. Bruce.
What's a tiki?
It's basically like cassava and pounded yam, but it's been grated almost, so it has the feel and the texture of couscous, so to speak. But it tastes so good. And when you add it, seriously, when you add it with the tomato sauce, I don't know what kind of tomato sauce that was, but I'm not a tomato sauce person, so if I could have it, it was amazing. With the chili, with the grilled chicken, with everything, it was amazing. And they literally have a culture similar to what you do in France, where people actually have a meal in the middle of the day. So it was like you would go to a marquee basically, and you find a lot of business people there. Everybody has the marquee that they go to. They go out there, they have their food, and generally people tend to have a tiki. So that was the best thing. Seriously, I'll bring some back.
I can hear this. Now, do you know where you're going next?
I'll be going to Ghana. So we're going to be going to Kumasi, which is the second city, and it's the cultural capital for Ghana. It's where the Ashanti, a lot of the Ashanti wealth is and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been to Accra many times, never to Kumasi. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going on in the second city, and just the energy, and also just finding out, the history and the texture of the Ashanti people.
And of course, what to eat and drink. Lee Kasumba, find out more on her trip. Lee's trip on africaconnected.co.za. She'll be traveling to Ghana next month. We'll talk to you then.